Shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, so I'm going to, through the Spirit, I'm going to go in on Exodus 14. And, so just going to start at the top. It says, And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they turn and encamp before Pihahiroth, between Migdal and the sea, over against Baal-zephon. Before it shall ye encamp by the sea. Alright, so you got to understand, Yahweh, he's always given his prophets instructions, directions, commandments, right? Orders, right? So he tells Moses a specific place to set up the camp, right? So let's read verse 3. For Pharaoh will say, the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land, the wilderness hath shut them in. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them. And I will be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am Yahweh, and they did so. All right, so another thing, I want to point out with this verse, you have to remember that Yahweh is in control at all aspects. He controlling Pharaoh, he controlling the Israelites, he controls all the people, he controls in today's spiritual Egypt, the modern Pharaoh. All right, so it's Yahweh who hardens Esau's heart. He hardens Pharaoh's heart. He hardens Esau's heart. Meaning he's the one who puts the spirit on them to do the things that they do. To oppress the people, to come after the people, to keep us in a low state. It's all punishment from Yahweh. All right, and he's the one who does this. He puts the spirit on our enemies to oppress us. All right, it's Proverbs 11:1. It says, I meant Proverbs 21:1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. All right, so the king's heart, and who's the king right now? Donald Trump. Right? What's he doing to Donald Trump? Yahweh's putting the spirit of Donald Trump to do a mass deportation, and that's kind of what inspired me to do this lesson, because I was watching some videos. I've been watching a lot of videos on that border czar, Thomas Homan, I think his name is, and that dude, he's he's about it, man. He ain't no joke. This dude, you can see that, you can just see the hate in this dude, man. He hates Israelites, And Esau, really, at the end of the day, all Esau's people, his descendants, they don't like the Israelites. They don't like us, But when you watch that Tom Homan dude, the border czar, you can see, man, that dude is a racist, man. And anyway, it's Yahweh that's putting the spirit on these Edomites to come the way they're coming, man. And they're going to bring it. And I was watching a video, and he was like, that dude Tom Homan, he's like addressing the border patrol in Texas, with their senator, their crippled senator, Greg Abbott, I think is his name, the Texas Republican Texan or governor. I said senator, but that dude's crippled, man. That fucking Governor Abbott, he can't even walk. That dude's legs are all shriveled up and shit. I didn't know that until I just saw this little video here on YouTube earlier. But anyway, the Lord's putting His spirit on these fucking Edomites to come down. And during that little meeting where Tom Homan, the border czar, was addressing the border patrol, the border, the workers, the enforcement people. He was like really hyped up, saying how the last presidency failed miserably, and under Trump they're gonna turn it all back around, and how they're just gonna be on it when it comes to the border patrol, right? And it's Yahweh is the one putting the spirit on these Edomites, giving them it's the time for them to come at you Israelites, man. And if you're one of those Northern Kingdom, man, they're gonna come at you hard, according to that dude. He said that's what he said in his meeting. He said, "All right, it's game on." So he's he ain't no joke, man. He's serious business when it comes to this deportation, right? Anyway, let's keep reading Exodus. But anyway, it says that he says, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart. And that's what Yahweh's doing with Trump and that borders are. He's hardening their heart, man, hardening their mind. They're getting ready to fuck you Northern Kingdom up, man. And it's going to happen to Southern Kingdom, not necessarily get deported, but when the real shit really hits the fan, we know Jacob's trouble is going to be just that. Jacob's trouble for Jake, right? And he's gonna, a lot of you residents, you have so-called citizenship. There's gonna be lots of confusion involved with that too. Don't be surprised if you start seeing, so-called Hispanics who are actual citizens of Babylon. Watch them get deported. And I say this because I'm actually one of those. I could see this devil just deporting, citizens by accident, on purpose, really, But anyway, verse 5. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled. I mean, to say the least, it's going to be really interesting to see how this shit goes down. Because you got these gung-ho, Trump supporters, and they're about it too. They're getting all hyped up about this deportation stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of, months, which, let me keep reading anyway. It says, and it was told that the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this? That we have let Israel go from serving us. Right, because he wants you to be a slave your whole life. That's the mindset of ancient Egypt, Pharaoh. And then also, right now these motherfuckers, they're not gonna give you true freedom anytime soon. And you 2/3, you really believe you're a free man or a free woman. You can't even drive a car without a license. You can't do anything without the permission of the so-called white man, right? And that goes back to the Greeks. Let me get that real quick in Maccabees, just since I'm on the subject. He's all about control. Esau Edom, and ultimately that's what's going to come down with his micro C hip. He's all about control with him, right? Actually, I could just get. It's in Maccabees. I know it's in First Maccabees. Let's see. Is the so-called white man? He wants papers on you, bro. That's his MO. He wants papers on everybody. In the kingdom, we ain't gonna be needing all that, right? Let's read 11. Start at 1 and 11. It says, in those days went out there of Israel wicked men, so our own people, the 2/3, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein, that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. You see that? So with everything with Esau, Edom, everything with the so-called white man, he wants you to be licensed to do it. You want to hunt? You better have a hunting license. You want to get married? You better have a marriage license. You want to drive a car? You better have a fucking a driver's license, right? And that's what he's going to do with this draconian law that he's about to put on you people with his micro C-hip. You want to just go to the store, you better have a micro C-hip, which basically that's going to be a license for you to, an ordinance for you to, a law, a rule for you to just shop for your daily needs, your basic daily needs. So, this Edomite, he's got a control complex, right? Exodus 14. So he didn't want ancient Egypt Pharaoh was pissed because they let the Israelites go. In verse 6 it says, and he made ready his chariot and took his people with him. So he went after in pursuit. And that's kind of like reminded me of this dude, this Bordazar. This motherfucker looks like he's one of those in the trenches type dudes. He's gonna be out there throwing people in fucking deportation vehicles and shit. I don't know what they call them, but I could see this dude throwing families, and that's because he said he's gonna do it. He's gonna throw your family. He said you could be legal, but if your mom's not legal, he's gonna throw both of you in there. That's the spirit that the Yahweh's put on this Edomite. All right. And like I say, we're gonna find out real soon what this is gonna be all about, and it's gonna bring chaos. You can just talking about it sounds crazy, So you can see it's gonna bring chaos, and that's one of the things they're gonna use to ultimately usher in that micro C-hip. All right. Let me see where I'm at. All right. Verse 7, and he took 600 chosen chariots and all the chariots of Egypt. Salakia, I have to close something. On all the chariots of Egypt and captains over every one of them. And Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And he pursued after the children of Israel, and the children of Israel went out with an high hand. Right? So, there it is. Came in pursuit. And that's what they're doing right now, And it's back and forth because this devil's double-minded no matter what he does. This one, you got, and remember, this is spiritual Egypt. We're in spiritual Egypt, but we're reading about ancient Egypt. But you got to understand, there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. So let me grab that verse real quick, just so you can understand for people that are new. In Revelation 11 and 8, it says, the Bible speaks about spiritual Egypt, right? And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom. And that's why you have a lot of Sodomites here in Babylon. And Egypt, spiritually, right, is Egypt and Sodom, where also our Lord Yahweh Shai was crucified, right? And really, that doesn't mean that Yahweh Shai was put on the cross here. It means that he was eliminated. Crucified means X'd out, right? Crossed out. So he was eliminated here in Babylon. By the time we came to Babylon and were raised up in our captivity, none of us were taught the truth about Yahweh Shai. We were taught a lie instead. We were taught about a white Jesus, and that's a stronghold still on the majority of our people, right? So the point I made though is this is spiritual Egypt. Let's see. 9. Exodus 14:9. But the Egyptians pursued after them all the horses and the chariots of Pharaoh, and his horsemen and his army overtook them, encamping by the sea besides Pihahiroth before Baal-zephon. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. So they were coming after our people. They were coming after us after we had been, basically dismissed. That's after we escaped, right? We did the max. That's why this book's called Exodus, because there was a mass exodus out of Egypt, ancient Egypt. And now you have now they're telling you it's going to be a mass exodus out of spiritual Egypt, right? Well, and I know the circumstances ain't exact, but the point is that, like, what is Donald Trump? He's promising you a mass exodus, a mass deportation of Israelites. And right here in Exodus 14, you have the opposite, because these were slaves. We were slaves, so they wanted to keep us in Egypt. But over here now in ancient spiritual Egypt, they're about to do a mass deportation. But either way, these heathen are coming after us and oppressing us. You see the similarities? The Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid, and the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh. Right? And these people that are going to get mass deported, hey man, unless they came across the camp, unless they've been on the YouTube learning about Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, they're not going to be crying for Yahweh Shai. They're going to be crying they're going to be praying to Jesus to save them, and that's why they're going to get fucked up. And a lot of you citizens who are of the Northern Kingdom, don't be surprised if a lot of these people get caught up in the crossfire and get deported as a citizen, because the way you look, especially when it gets really chaotic. Verse 11. And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? And this is the spirit of the 2/3, the spirit of 2/3 complaining, man. They want to rather be slaves. They get mad at Moses. They're like, yo, you're over here telling us, that we escape Egypt, and now our life is worse, is their mindset. You're going to have that same shit happening here. You have a lot of the 2/3, not a lot of the 2/3 are always going to be complaining, man. Whether you're out of slavery or in slavery, you rather be a slave. Matter of fact, you have that Stockholm syndrome. When you go into that word Stockholm syndrome, it means that you have an admiration towards your captor, meaning the one who keeps you in captivity. You admire him. Verse 12. Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. You see? And this is the 2/3, man. That's why you have things like during the election, or we call it the selection rather than an election, because those who are not asleep, especially the men, the brothers in this truth, we know it was selection. It was not an election. All right. But anyway, that's why they have blacks for Trump, Latinos for Trump, right? Because you're the same 2/3. You over here all up on your enemy and your oppressor's nuts. You see, you're just swinging from his nutsack. Because you ain't supposed to, you're not supposed to bet or not bet. You ain't supposed to vote for no a king and set a king over you that's not of your brethren or not of your brotherhood. That's why the men who are in this knowledge and this truth, you think we were at the polls betting? Or I keep saying betting, voting? Hell no. Let me keep reading. Verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh, and he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. And this is the lot of a prophet, we go back to the spiritual side. No matter how many people are coming against us, we put our trust in Yahweh. So that's what Moses is doing, redirecting them. Like, oh, yo, you're about to see Yahweh's power, right? Is basically what he's telling them. Yahweh shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. So he's like, shut the fuck up. Yahweh's got us, you know? Verse 15, and Yahweh said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. But lift thou up thy rod and stretch out thine hand over the sea, and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. All right, so this is where that divine intervention comes into play, right? Yahweh is given, once again, his prophet, Moses, directions, instructions, telling him what to do, telling him how to, how the Israelites are going to escape through divine intervention. And he's going to do the same thing in this day and age. You know, because you have to understand, the spirit of the prophets is subject unto the prophets. So we are back. The prophets there's nothing new under the sun. The prophets are back on the scene, and we have the same faith that Moses did. And we believe and we understand, we know that Yahweh is going to have divine intervention with us and protect us when our enemy comes in like a flood, right? It tells you that. Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When this enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. Right now, you're about to see the enemy come in like a flood on these so-called, what they call illegal aliens. But pretty soon, this devil's going to turn on you, Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that are, even if you're a citizen, because when he puts in that law of getting a micro C-hip, the ones that don't take it, you're going to be the enemy, you know? This is all just beginning of the chaos that he's going to create and get warmed up for his real agenda. All right? But you see here, it says, shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun? When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. See that? So the Spirit of Yahweh is going to lift up a standard to those who are of the elect. All right. If you're not of the elect, if you're a 2/3, you're going to get taken away by that flood, by the enemy. But if you're of the elect, Yahweh is going to, for the most part, he's going to divine intervention will come into place with the elect, because we do know some of our brothers, some of the prophets are going to have to face that guillotine, because that's also biblical prophecy, which, John the Revelator speaks about in Revelation, talking about some of the prophets getting beheaded because of their testimony, right? Because they'll become what you call a martyr, right? Exodus 14, and where am I? Verse 17. And I, behold, will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them. And I will give me honor upon Pharaoh, and upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the angel of the Most High, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. All right, so the angel, what are the angels? We always tell you, the angels are the chariots. All right, they're in those chariots. That's what that pillar of the cloud, that's what it was, right? Well, let's keep reading. So it was what you call a UFO. All right, that's the angel of the Most High. And see, when we was in Christianity and before we came to this knowledge of truth, we just read this. We just thought it was an angel. We didn't even, and we was picturing a little white angel with wings like Cupid or some shit. But now that we're in the truth, we know that this is what it's actually talking about. That's the beauty of this truth. So that's what it is. All right, verse 21. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahweh caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. Right? So Yahweh did what Moses told him to do. Or I'm sorry, Moses did what Yahweh told him to do. Right? And it was that chariot also helping, like, because you saw that it mentioned the chariot right before. Well, let me read that again. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. So basically the chariot blinded, or it put the Egyptians in darkness, but it gave light to the Israelites, and it gave us an escape route, right? And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahweh caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night. It made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. So that's what this is, the whole story. You know that they even try to lie to you in that movie, The Ten Commandments, right? They didn't show you a chariot. They showed you a so-called white man, Charlton Heston, splitting the Red Sea, right? And I know that it wasn't actually I don't want to misspeak on it, but there was another name for that sea that was divided, which a lot of people speak that it was the Red Sea, and it could have been a portion of the Red Sea, but I don't want to misspeak. But the elder apostle Gabar all the elders have spoken on it a lot. There's actually another name for the sea where we crossed in this chapter here, verse 20, and I don't remember. All right. But anyway, verse 22, and the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Right? So this is divine intervention. This is a chariot and the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yoshai opening up that sea so that we could cross. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses and his chariots and his horsemen. And Esau brought this scene to life, and he did a shitty job because he wasn't biblically accurate. He made Moses a so-called white man. He made the Egyptians were so-called white men in the movie. And that's part of his deception. Because every time people think about Moses, especially like Generation X and before that, when they think of Moses, old punk ass Charles Heston will pop in their head. When Moses was a so-called black man, just like Yahweh Shai was a so-called black man, right? Verse 23. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses and his chariots and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning watch that Yahweh looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. So he saw through the chariot, Yahweh, through the what you call a UFO, he saw the Egyptians in pursuit of us. And he said it gave him trouble. And if you watch the movie, what happened? He just floods them, He lets those waters come back together, and all the fucking host of the Egyptians is basically drowned. Verse 25, and took off their chariot wheels that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for Yahweh fighteth for them against the Egyptians. See, so they knew. Remember he said that they were going to know who he was. They said that in Yahweh said that in the verse I had read. They were verse 18, and the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh. Right, and how did they know that? Because he was fucking them up. Right? And that's what he's going to do to this spiritual Egypt. All these people talking shit, all these people saying that you can call God and the Messiah, the Father and the Son, anything you want, they're going to know the names. They're going to know who Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is. All right? Just like these fucking Egyptians figured it out. Like that term that they say now, that phrase, fuck around and find out. Well, hey, the Egyptians fuck around and found out. And guess what's the same thing going to happen with the spiritual Egyptians, these Americans, the Babylonians. Fuck around and find out, Babylon. Let's see. It says, And the Egyptians pursued. Did I read that already? Verse 25, right? No. Okay, and took off their chariot wheels that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, Let us flee from the face of Israel, for Yahweh fighteth for them against the Egyptians. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon the chariots, and upon their horsemen. So now Yahweh is telling Moses, all right, now go ahead and close them waters up, all upon that army. And that's how we're going to be. The Lord, we read it in Isaiah 59 and 19. Yahweh is going to raise up a standard, lift up a standard against that flood, against that enemy. Call Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. You know, that's what we're waiting on, man. The brotherhood, the prophets of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, we can't wait to get spiritual powers, man. And we know it's going to happen. Why? Because the scripture speaks about it. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it. And Yahweh overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. So he took out the whole fucking army. And that's what our power is going to do. And even on a greater scale, man. You got to understand the destruction, the annihilation that Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai is about to put on spiritual Egypt, on Babylon, America, and their armies, and also the heathen armies that joined together in the World War III. Man, the only one is going to be, standing at the end of the day is going to be Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai and his host and his men and the elect. All right, that's it. The rest, all of these fucking heathen, these 2/3, because 2/3 of our own people is wicked, gonna stay as the heathen mindset. You don't believe his prophets, you don't believe in the Bible, you don't believe in the truth, you don't believe in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Well, guess what? We tell you every day, man, you're gonna pay for that non-belief. But the children of Israel walked upon the dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Thus saith Yahweh, saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. So that. What do you think of them 2/3 that were able to cross? When they saw that, they was like, oh shit, maybe Moses is a prophet. Maybe Moses, they knew Yahweh was dealing with Moses. But our people are so hard-headed and simple-minded that they ended up, fucking up right afterwards. But anyway, that's another story. Verse 31. And Israel saw that great work which Yahweh did upon the Egyptians, and the people feared Yahweh and believed Yahweh and his servant Moses. You see that? So that's going to be the same thing that happens with us, brothers. When, we have a lot of these doubters, these naysayers, these gainsayers, these people that come up against us, even of our own people, right? A lot of the women, they are against us, because they want to be down with Esau and all the liberty he gives them. But when this divine intervention starts to come to pass, these people are going to start realizing, like, yo, these men are the servants of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, right? So we just got to keep doing what we're doing, brothers. Keep pushing this truth, keep pushing this knowledge, keep pushing this word, keep pushing Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, that vibration on the earth, and, everything's going to fall into place as it is written, all right? So with that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akim who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect.